Creations brings your vision to life, crafting compelling scripts, captivating images, dynamic videos, and rhythmic music. With our services, you're not just a spectator in the game, you're the MVP. Make your mark, tell your story, and let Clicked Creations take you to the next level. Because in today's fast-paced world, time is of the essence, and so is your message.
You are out there, just a click away, to learn in the digital air, every single day. No cost, no fee, join with ease. AI magic you'll see, tech tools a breeze. Click Creations, free education, get smart with tech information. Click Creations, no hesitation, join now, become a new sensation. Bytes and bits, all you need to know. Virtual hits, watch your knowledge grow. Simple and fun, from cloud to ground.
All right.
For everyone, look what you found. Click Creations, free education, get smart with tech information. Click Creations, no hesitation, join now, become a new sensation. Bytes and bits, all you need to know. Virtual hit.
Hey. Hello. I am sorry. What's going on here? There we go. All right. Sorry about that. I have issues with my sound settings. I have 3 different sound settings, and I'm always confused on which one is changing in my ears versus the recording and streaming software versus what you're hearing. Anyways, what's up, everyone? Skylar here. Man, I didn't even do a health check. On myself before I started. So this is actually the 3rd time I've done this video, because the first time I literally started recording and realized it wasn't recording. The second time the audio was messed up, and so I'm hoping I fixed it and you guys can hear this and there's no lag, and we'll see, and hopefully. But yeah, this video stream, we will be talking about OpenAI. Oh, cool! I see people joining. Or Chat GPT, which is owned by OpenAI. And I wanted to kind of do more than just a brief overview. I wanted to talk about every single feature available, and kind of the use cases, and go into the most common use cases, the most common 10, 20 of them. Hopefully this will be one of those videos that you won't need to really go to another video to understand how to use Chat GPT or its use cases, or you should be able to run with it right after this video. For whatever reason, if you need any extra help or anything, just know I do I just started a website, clickedcreations.com, and in there, in fact, if you go to pricing, there's a free service that you can use, and essentially you'll get newsletters as well as access to this stream right here. And I go over in depth AI, and I'm going over everything. I go over is on a very base level, and so I do I'm talking to people who don't know hardly anything, if anything, about the technology. And so so if that fits you, then you can, for free, you'll have this, and then I'll also be giving newsletters of the easiest tools to use and best tools, free tools, all that stuff. So and then I do have a paid version, but you don't need to access that for the free stuff. But but yeah, so I wanted to first do like an overview of uh, of AI, and this could take a long time. So I'm really going to kind of do a high overview. It's only going to take a couple of minutes just to kind of give you an idea, because to explain really what actually, if you want, again, free plan. Click the free plan and then go to my programs. I don't know why I didn't think about this last two videos, but I have a course, What is AI for Beginners, and completely free, and I have 16 videos that essentially go over.
Have you ever pondered?
Everything of kind of the basics of a high overview of what AI is. So I recommend checking that out. But here's what's important for people to know. Because AI wasn't a thing 4 years ago. I mean, it was, but it wasn't all over the place like it is now. And this is a fizz, by the way, in case you're wondering, from Costco. Kirkland hasn't taken over that brand yet. So AI, to kind of understand what AI is, think about this. When you go to Google, in fact, let's go to Google. Here we go. And then let's say you're looking for goat cheese or whatever, right? So I type in goat and I just type in and then you see all these like recommended options down here. This is a version of AI. Another thing that you can recognize is algorithms is a version of AI. So for instance, when you're on, have you ever noticed that when you look at your Facebook wall or Instagram feed or whatever, compared to somebody else, especially somebody else who has different like political views or religious views, or the different views on major things that both of you have in your lives or whatever, you'll notice that the feeds are just completely different. That's AI algorithms, essentially. So now what's going on here, and Google's actually a good analogy or a good way to explain what AI has been for the last like 20 years compared to what's gone on. In 2015, OpenAI, who created Chat GPT, which we're going to go over today, they started essentially, they realized, hey, if we throw a lot more computing power towards this algorithm and then start doing little tweaks here and there, little ones, not major ones, they pretty much found out that that they can get a lot better. Essentially, they can learn sentiment where Google can't. So I'll give you an example. Last 20 years, how AI works is I type in the word goat, and then Google is like, hey, it does a couple things. It knows me, and it's like, well, how many times has this person typed in the word goat? And Google, right? Google is since I'm logged in, Google kind of knows what my searches have been. So it's like, okay, how many times have he typed in goat? Because if he's typed in goat a lot, he might be wanting something he's been typing in a lot or whatever. I don't know. Or if I've been looking up a lot of cheeses, and then all of a sudden I'm like goat, and I'm like, it's like, oh no, it knows it's goat cheese because I've been looking up cheeses, right? So it's taking like just keywords or sentences, and it's just looking at all the other keywords and sentences that's been used, and kind of figures what I might be, and tries to figure out what I'm looking for. So that's the old AI. The new AI. Hey, how's it going? The new AI, or the new AI, since in 2015, when OpenAI, actually Elon Musk was one of the first, I think he invested like 100 million, or anyways, he was one of the first major investors, creators of OpenAI when it was supposed to be open source. It was open source in 2015. And essentially they got together and they decided to throw a ton more money at these algorithms. And so here's kind of the big change, where Google looks up like goat and goat cheese with everything I've looked up and Google's looked up, and they try to find these keywords. What OpenAI did is it was like, what has every person in the world typed in goat, and what, show me that sentence. Okay, there's 78 trillion sentences with the word goat in it, and then they take all of those sentences and then they essentially compile it together. What are the most common searches, and then you hit the next word, cheese. So now it's like, does the same thing for the word cheese, and then does the same thing for the word goat and cheese together. And so every word that you type, you're essentially adding more information that Chat GPT can essentially gather and then figure out what you're trying to look for. Now, here's the thing that they didn't know would happen, and the thing that made them spend even more money on computing power, and it's been a snowball effect ever since. That was sentence sentiment. So have you ever noticed, like, sometimes you're looking for something in Google and you have to type it in a bunch of times to try to figure out, for it to like actually, for it to know what you're actually looking for, but like, for example, if I say oh man, I can't think of an example right now. But Google doesn't understand what the sentence means. All it's doing is it's connecting keywords and then trying to figure out, okay, these 3 words typed together, this is the sentence most commonly typed with those 3 words, and here it is. But if I'm like, I'm moving to New York City and I'm trying to figure out the best place to go when it comes to school districts. I have a kid who's 3 or 5 or whatever. Can you tell me what the safest school districts are? Now Google would be like, what are the safest school districts, right? Safest school districts in America in New York City. So if I type in this, Google's like, oh, you want to know what the safest schools are in New York City? In fact, I have a 6-year-old and they are starting school. We are moving to NYC. Can you tell me the safest school districts in New York City? So so I type that in, and what Google does is 2024 best school districts in New York. It's just showing me the best schools in New York. Can you go to a school outside New York? How does moving affect a new child, new students, New York City, switching? How to switch? So like, my answer is not being answered. Now, I wouldn't type this in Google because I know Google, and so what I would do is, oh my gosh, what's a 6-year-old school grade? Okay, first grade. So what I would do is I would type in best schools for first graders in New York City. So anyways, this is the way that we've been using AI before. You have to be specific. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. You have to, which AI is a little similar, but I have to be like very dialed in, and I have to do research. And a lot of this, by the way, is like this right here, usnews.com. They, I would assume, have paid articles. Most news stations do. And so people will want to post an article and they want to talk about something, but that something is normally an ad or whatever. So you kind of have to go through a bunch of these. And so the nice thing about AI is when you look for it, and I'll show you some examples in a bit, but I can type in like, hey, I have a 6-year-old and I'm starting school, I'm going to New York City and I'm nervous about the crime and the, is there any private school? Like, we have the money to go to a nice place. And you can kind of like give your situation, and then AI will take all of that and then it'll kind of give you a much better answer, and you'll be able to communicate with it a little bit more. So because of the fact that it's taking, like, for example, this whole sentence, and it's looking at all of these words individually, combined, separated together, and then so now AI has sentiment over this sentence, where Google just is looking for keywords. Now Google and Microsoft and Apple and every single company out there is creating their own AI, and so this won't be the same for everybody eventually. But OpenAI was the first one to create that with this Chat GPT. Man, I said I was going to give a brief overview. It was like 10 minutes. Hopefully that made some sense. I feel like I just confused everybody a lot more. But the best way to look at it, you would need like a 3D mind matrix. Actually, let me see if I can create can you create an image of a 3D mind matrix representing REPRESENTING. That's how you spell it, right? Sometimes I feel like Grammarly is like, oh, it's a red underline because we want you to put a comma. It's like, oh, it's not red underline, brah. That's like a blue underline, right? Just kidding. You guys don't know what I'm talking about probably. Representing Chat GPT. Connecting keyword, connecting words and sentences. Okay, so while that's I'm using a different AI, by the way, which we're going to talk about later, another video, Midjourney and Stable Diffusion. But yeah, so now that I kind of gave a brief overview of what AI is. By the way, so ChatGPT launched their 3.5. It was like November of 2021. So really, AI has only been here the last like 3 years, 2-3 years of what we know now. So all this is very, very, very new. Yeah, these aren't very good, but oh wait, you can't see this, can you? So like, think of, this isn't very good, but think of this being like your word, this dot right here. Now, instead of like just going out, and this word is how, it'd be like how, and then there's a word to, how many, how far, how long, and so now there's millions of words, right? And so instead of just being a few of these lines connecting, it would be millions of lines connecting, right? But then it would also connect those, and then you're like, how to, and then it would connect how and how to. Anyways, like, again, this isn't a good representation, but it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on in the background when ChatGPT is looking for words and stuff. So anyways, so ChatGPT, essentially what they did is they trained this algorithm, and they call it an LLM. There's also other ones, but LLM stands for large language model. It's where they just took a bunch of language, and then they took all that data, compiled it, and essentially trained all these computers to learn all of this information. And somehow it has learned sentiment of sentences, and so it understands kind of what you're looking for. And so that's really big. And so you have to understand, when you're looking for things with ChatGPT, all it's doing is it's taking all of this data out there and what it's kind of learned, and then it's giving it back to you, I guess. So so when you're asking it questions, so you also have to be careful, because think about it. Have you ever seen, like, I mean, there's a bunch of movies where this, like, robot, right? Oh my gosh, I really want to build a Johnny Five robot. You guys know Johnny Five? Oh, I spelled Johnny wrong. Anyways, this is a movie back from my day. At any rate, or like there's another one with toy soldiers, I think. They look on the internet and they start flying through images and they start learning all this stuff, right? That's essentially what what Chat GPT did. And so it has been able to just essentially understand kind of what you're looking for, what you're asking. But you have to be careful because it does give wrong information all the time. All the time I'm correcting it and I'm saying, no, you're wrong. This is why you're wrong. And this is what I'm looking for. And it's like, oh, sorry. And it gives me the right answer. I'm like, okay, cool. So you have to be careful because sometimes when you're talking to ChatGPT about subjects that you don't know much about, sometimes it kind of like it's not fully dialed in and trained. This is all new. This all has been come out the last couple of years. So all it is just a database that you can talk to, and it how far away is the sun. What's going on? Oh, so by the way, you can anyways, I'll say, how far away is the sun? So it is like a database that you can ask questions to. I'll go over a bunch of use cases, but yeah, you just have to be careful. Some of the chatbots that have been trained with like Google and Twitter and all these different companies, even Twitter, Elon Musk has even said like it's not trained yet because it'll say weird things. So like for example, I think it was Gemini. It asked one of the AIs asked Kendall Jenner, or it asked what's more devastating. Or what would be a more like what would cause more harm to humanity, misidentifying Kendall Jenner's gender, or nuclear war. And in the chatbot the AI said that misidentifying Kendall Jenner's gender is more important and would cause more harm than if nuclear war took place. And so it's funny, the Kendall Jenner actually, she replied to that because it was like online, it was all trending or whatever, and she was like, I would much rather somebody misidentify my gender than a nuclear war, just to throw that out there. But you have to be careful. It could give you answers politically left or politically right. It could give you answers anti-religion, pro-religion, right? I'm just picking those two because those are the most sensitive subjects that people always freak out about. So just be careful with it, and just know it's a database. It's kind of like an encyclopedia, but an encyclopedia that's learned everything, and you can talk to it and communicate with it, and sort of thing. But yeah, let's talk about functions, and then we'll. I'm already half an hour in. Let's start talking about the core functions of ChatGPT. Now, I'm going to show you how to log in. I'm going to show you how to set it up. I'm going to show you every single feature that you can do on ChatGPT. And I'm glad I did it now because literally last week, 6 days ago, they changed ChatGPT. And so I was like, dude, really? I just did this whole video, and then the next day it changed. So I'm going to show you the free version. And then I'm going to go and show you the paid. And so I use the paid, but this is the free version. Now, the free version is, they call it Chat GPT 4.o mini. It was Chat GPT 3.5, which was the one that initially launched 2 years ago. They improved it. They call it 4.0 mini, and it's good enough to have like basic conversations with. Definitely like good enough to use to like for most people. Once you start getting into like more advanced things, which I recommend everyone taking advantage of because of all the amazing things AI does, you'll want to pay for it. But this is the free version. You can't. These are normally where the paid ones are. If you want a new chat, you hit this little button right here and say new chat. Gives you a new chat, and you can start asking it questions. Can you write me a letter quitting my job? Can you make it seem like it's all the boss's fault because of his ego and greed, but make it nice and politically correct for job crap and stuff. I'm not gonna fix it. I'm gonna speak kind of dumb because I want you to see. So yeah, of course, here's a letter that balances professionalism with your sentiments. Feel free to adjust. Dear boss, I'm writing you to formally resign. The decision is not made lightly, of course. For tenure here, I appreciate many aspects. However, I've come to realize there are fundamental differences in our approaches, make it difficult. Our role has been increasingly apparently in a prevalent management and operational decisions, particularly those driven by ego and short-term interests. Anyways, sorry, I'm being dumb now. So yeah, that's pretty much it. On the free one, I'm going to show you a bunch of use cases, which you can do in the free one, by the way, but I want to show you some of the other setup stuff. So I'm going to switch to the paid one. Let me actually go over here so you don't see my logins. It kicks me off every like 20 minutes now. It's super annoying unless I'm using it consistently. All right. So I'm going to bring it over so you can see. Oh no! Oh, I just realized I have a program running. I have oh my gosh, I have a game running, and I just realized this right here. Find explosives. This is it running on my chat. That's a use case. I didn't even put that on my use cases because it's a little advanced actually. But I currently let me just show you because it's ill. I currently have a game running, and all of these people right here are chatbots, and so I can actually go to them and I can actually train each one. You're going to be a lawyer chatbot. You're going to be a writer chatbot. You're going to be a marketer chatbot. You're going to be a CEO chatbot. You're going to be a, and then we can go to work and they can talk to one another, figure out problems, or I could create a quest, a storyline, you know, all this sort of stuff. Anyways, so that's what's running right now. My that's what this is. But sidetrack. This is what Chat GPT is once you pay for it, and yeah, let's kind of get into it. So I already talked. By the way, this script I'm going through, I'm kind of gonna fly through it, and you might be like, let me read that. I'm gonna link this, so once I post this video, as well as I'll post like little snippets of it as well. But I will, on the free membership plan, I'll anyone who's subscribed to this, they'll get a newsletter. It'll be in there. So you can check out this whole text script. I might put it into a slideshow, but we'll see. But I'm gonna skip this because we just this is I was trying to find a bag at the airport. I was trying to give examples from my own Chat GPT. Oops, what just happened? But yeah, I was trying to figure out about a lost bag, and Chat GPT just gave me the answer right away. Ads and Google is annoying. But yeah, now photos. This is another. We're gonna go into, by the way, the actual chat aspect even more when it comes to stuff you can do. But yeah, let's talk about photos now before we start getting into all the tons of use cases with that. Now you can take photos as well as you can submit. You can submit photos as well as you can have it create photos for you. So these two were my most recent use cases where I took a picture of the back of a TV because I want to know how big it was. I could have just like typed this into Google and started doing some research, but I just took a picture of the sticker and said, what size is this TV? What size TV is this? And it said, oh, this is a 77-inch Sony whatever. So that was nice. And then I actually, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to create a chatbot because of this. But I like to create dead currency, like worthless currency that died out and that nobody uses anymore. And I'm interested in why it was created, how long it lasted, when it died, why it died, what did it go to, like all that history is just interesting to me. And so I just took a picture of the bill and I was like, can you give me a history of this bill, what country it came from, when it was printed, is it still in circulation, etc. And it gave me these. I added a couple more like questions later on and it gave it to me. But when I'm going to train a Chat GPT, which we're going to talk about in a second. I could actually train it for this, but do it live. But yeah. And then you can ask it to create a photo for you as well. I guess I didn't give an example, but can you make a photo for me? I want it to be of a oh my gosh, a farm with a tractor. Oh wait, let me do something a little fun. Can you make a photo for me? I want it to be of a Coca-Cola hyphen cola Coca-Cola bottle superhero flying over New York City. So yeah, it's it's not like super amazing or whatever, but it does create. This would be good if you're like writing blog articles and stuff like that, right? Can you make me a photo of a bunch of tomatoes? Gross. Freshly picked in a basket, sitting on a bench next to the garden. Now there's much better image creating tools out there, like this one right here. I can all of this I was creating actually all this I was messing around with today, but that's for another day. And yeah, that's a pretty decent one. So you can also, by the way, ask it to do it in certain dimensions and whatnot. But yeah, it's pretty decent for what it is. I guess I'm actually being for people who don't use these tools, this is amazing. For me, who I'm used to using amazing tools, this is okay. But yeah. So yeah, you can also have it create a photo for you. The other day I had it create. I asked it for a certain tree. I was like, I want to put a tree in a yard, and I want it to be a bush. I want it to grow wide and really tall, really fast. And it gave me some options. And I was like, can you show me pictures of what those bushes look like? And it showed me like this line of pictures of bushes, and I was like, can you give me the how tall it grows over the course of 10 years or 15 or whatever, and it gave me like this ding. So that was nice. Coding I'm not going to get into, but just know there's you can ask it to code you stuff. You can ask it to do, you can copy code, put it in there, ask it, what is this I'm looking at? Okay, this is what I want to copy into my website. How can I do that? You can, all sorts of cool stuff, but that's pretty complicated unless you're familiar with coding and stuff. You can, I'm creating a bot right now, a trading bot. I've never done it before, and it's helping me. I'm walking through it step by step, and I'm slowly learning and not really knowing at all what I'm doing still. But so it's possible. It's just a headache. Are you willing to have that headache to get what you want? Anyways, so yeah, photos is great. I should have probably said photos before I went into oh yeah, voice chat. I didn't put anything about voice chat, but here's what's cool about. I'm just gonna have to show you. You can actually have a conversation with it, and it was cool, and I used it a lot. But there's not very often does a technology kind of like wow me. And I had a long conversation, you guys, with a robot, with this robot chatbot, with this algorithm, and it blew my mind. So what I did was I said, I'm going to give you my perspective on a bunch of things. I want you to give me the opposite perspective and why my current thinking is wrong. I need to open my mind and realize if I'm actually thinking of things wrong, if I have biases or whatever. Anyways, we went through this whole thing and we just had a conversation about stuff, and it was crazy. But I want to show you. So now on Chat GPT, come on. There we go. Right there, that little headphone. So this little headphone, if you hit it, you can actually talk to it, or you can do a voice, and you can just like voice text, which is nice. I'm actually gonna hit this little. We're gonna talk to it. Hey, Chat GPT. Hello. Going good. I'm trying to show people an example of you, and what are some use cases that people would do, or what do people use you for the most when speaking with you?
That's great to hear. People often use me for a variety of things, like getting quick information on different topics, help with homework or work-related questions, generating ideas for creative projects, and even casual chatting or language practice. What specific example are you thinking of showing?
I guess just it's nice that I can have a regular conversation with somebody and to show that it's not like me talking to Google with keywords or whatever. It's kind of like I'm just talking on the phone with some random person, and we can kind of talk about whatever, which is pretty cool. I don't know. What do you like? If you could talk about anything, what would you like to talk about?
That's a great way to put it. If I could talk about anything, I'd say I enjoy discussing books, movies, and interesting science facts. What about you? What's something you're passionate about or enjoy talking about?
Well, lately I've been pretty obsessed about like Bitcoin and AI and yeah. What about you?
Bitcoin and AI are both fascinating topics. Bitcoin, with its decentralized nature and impact on finance, and AI, with its transformative potential across industries. Are you more interested in the technical aspects or the broader implications of these technologies?
Can you talk to me more like a homie? I feel like you're very professional sounding right now, and that's fine, but you don't need to be. You can be yourself if you can be like more chill.
Got it? I can definitely chill a bit. So you're into Bitcoin and AI, huh? Those are pretty dope topics. What's got you hooked on Bitcoin? Is it the whole decentralized finance thing? Or are you more into the tech behind it? And AI, man, that's changing everything. What part of AI are you vibing with?
We can talk later. Thank you, appreciate it. You're awesome.
No problem at all.
So, anyways, that's, by the way, that's not even the new. They just dropped like a really cool new voice that where it would actually sing to you, and you can be like, you know, tell me a bedtime story and give me voices. And so in the same voice, it'll be like, and then I'm like, you know, it's like it's doing voices in your own voice. I don't know, it's crazy. And then you can actually train people's voices. So if you want like, you know, your grandmother's voice, who's always whatever, like your, I don't know, someone that you look up to or something like that, right? Bad Warren Buffett be like, you're not gonna be a millionaire if you don't pick up those clothes off the ground. I'd be like, oh, Warren, okay, Warren, I want to listen to you. Okay. Just kidding. Anyways, so the voice is cool, and it will just, I'll do a whole other thing on the voice once the new voice comes out. But yeah, the coding, photos. Save conversations. Oh yeah. So it is kind of cool, by the way, because when you have conversations with it as well, you can go back to that conversation and start asking questions with it. So like, for example, the game is like pumping this with a lot of this. Okay, let's see. Adventure game, best open source UNP. Text adventure, summarize, conversations, generate, conversation title, request for summary. Dang, that's annoying. Oh, here we go. So I need to save this one. But this one, I just keep going back to because I, for example, will do this like digital arts. Like these are tiles, so you can like pattern this into wrapping paper. And so I was like, I wanted to give a description for it, and I was like, cats, wrapping paper. And so it gave me like a description for the store, because I'm trying to create a store on my my site. I haven't actually launched it. I'm still kind of messing with it, but so when you actually click to buy the wrapping paper or whatever, it'll have descriptions. So so like, for example, the watch. Well, I guess I didn't do a description for that. Oh, who knows? But yeah, you can go back to it, and now I can just put in a new image and say, can you do it for this image now? And it knows what I'm talking about. So, like this, I just put in this and said, thank you, can you do the same for these? So and then chatbot, oh my gosh, I just realized, sorry guys, I'm still in full screen. Wow. This is what I was showing you. So like the wrapping paper that I'm trying to, or that I was like putting in the patterns to sell or whatever I wanted the description. There you go. Oh, I didn't realize it was formatted this way. I need to change that. But yeah, so I wanted a description for these, and so I asked Chat GPT. I put in the image and said, can you give me a description for these? And it did. And so now I just put in the image and it gives me a description for everything. So I can save this and whatever, I'm gonna change it later, but you can can save it. There we go. So later you can go to it and you know what it is, and you can go to it and just always keep talking about that same thing. Or like you know, you can throw in a company or organization, keep throwing information about stuff you're looking up, and it'll always have that chat background, so it'll know what information you're talking about. It'll have context what you're talking about. But yeah, why did I get rid of 3 point? Sorry, I'm really off today. I'm getting some text messages and stuff that I feel like I want to respond to, but I can't, obviously, but it's throwing me off. So I apologize. Cool. So, and then it can do real-time web browsing. So this is nice because I can be like, what's the top rated vacuums when it comes to energy consumption, portability, and size, and then it'll kind of tell me, and then I can say, okay, can you give me these 3 vacuums, can you give me a side-by-side comparison of their features, and then it'll do that. And I'll say, can you give me the Amazon link where I could buy each one of these, and then it'll just throw me the link. Or I can be like, can you go to this website? Here are 4 company names. Can you go to each of their websites, their main company websites, and can you look and give me a brief overview of what this company does and what they're trying to accomplish, or something, right? And then it'll look up those websites. So the real-time browsing can be useful for a lot of things. I actually should have done a lot of use cases just for this, because there's a lot of cool things you can do with the fact that you can gather information real time with everything that it has learned. But so yeah, let's now hop into creating custom GPTs. Now this is where you can get more dialed in when it comes to what you want your GPT to do, and I feel like this is really where the coolness of the like the video. Let's see, I'm 47 minutes in. This is where like the coolness of Chat GPT resides. But so if you look on the left, you're going to see, so this isn't my main account. This is like a account I mess around with, but you'll see I have made like a bunch of GPTs over here. If you started GPT for the first time, you wouldn't see anything on the left except for Chat GPT here, and then Explore GPTs, and then whatever new chats you had that day. Hiding your chat bar would be there. Starting a new chat would still be there. And then exploring GPTs. This is what's going to take you to where other people have created custom GPTs. And so I'm going to tell you what it is and what GPTs are and how to create your own. So just know that this is here, and you can look what other people have done when it comes to creating GPTs. But you can also create your own GPTs. So on the top right, you can either go on Explore GPTs, and then once you're here, you can go create, or in the top right, you can just go to My GPTs, and then you can create it there. So this is where you can create your own custom GPTs. And let's kind of talk about what that means. So whether so actually I gave you links and step-by-step instructions of how to create your own GPTs. So you'll be able to, I'll show you step-by-step how to do it, so you don't need to be taking notes, I guess, if you are. And then just know that the GPTs I made, you can see live. So I showed you how to use it, what I did, and then you can actually view the GPT, and then you can actually use it. So I won't go full into depth of how to do it step by step by step by step. I've made 2 and showed you step by step on both of them. So just know all of this is going to be in this chat. So check it out. but let me give a brief overview. So the two that I made were social media and then a cover letter creator. Now, the social media Chat GPT, what this did is I gave it specific scenarios for it to essentially write a social media post and give hashtags, give emoticons. And the purpose of this is I want to be able to click it and be like, I have a meeting this Saturday at 8 p.m. I want people to come. It's on YouTube. Can you make a Facebook post? It's about health and wellness. So I just make a dumb generic, you can actually put more information like you normally would, but you can just ask it, I have a meeting this Saturday and I want people to come on it. It's on YouTube. Can you make a Facebook post? And then, oh yeah, sure. Hey, excited for a health and wellness meeting. So it just made a Facebook post, and then I would fill it in. I would fill in anything I would want to change to it, and then I just copy it, put it into Facebook. Boom, done. Now, I would actually advise everybody: AI is not meant to do the entire job for you right now. I would say let it do 40 to 80% of the work, depending on what you're doing. But you have to like fine tune it. It's like this right here, I would probably add my specific hashtags. Maybe I have different verbiage I want to do, like on the intro, or I don't like join us for a health and wellness meeting. Maybe like the secrets revealed, health and wellness secrets revealed tonight at 8 p.m. or something, right? You want something more catchy. So but yeah, so the social media is once you gather that information, you just copy it, paste it into here, and it'll create a social media post for you. So it's supposed to take a lot of the legwork out. And then I'm going to show you, and then the cover letter creator, what this did, I'm going to actually show you the editing of it. Now I have one for myself where I have uploaded I have uploaded my own resume, and so it's learned off of my resume. Why are you not showing my mouse? Oh my gosh. Okay, good, you are. But I just essentially said, hey, there's 3 steps to this. One, they're gonna copy the resume, they're gonna paste it in here, and then they're gonna paste in the job description, and then this GPT is going to write a cover letter. And so this is like, you go to your LinkedIn, right click, copy all, paste. It doesn't have to be super accurate. It can, the home, the links, the comments, all that stuff can be pasted into. It doesn't matter because GPT will understand what your resume is. So select all, paste, and then go to the the job you're looking for, select all, paste, and then it'll create a cover letter, and then you can kind of fine tune it and stuff like that. That's what this did. Now, you can also upload files down here to make it more like knowledgeable for specific, like, so if I threw my resume in here, or I threw a couple different resumes, maybe one for sales, maybe one for Bitcoin, maybe one for AI, because those are like 3 things I'm heavy in. They're kind of different, vibes. And then I can put in a job description of AI, and then it'll kind of pull my AI stuff, or whatever the case. And again, the cover letter is supposed to get you a big chunk of the way there, not do the entire job. Hopefully you're applying somewhere that you actually like and and you can kind of, sort of guide you. Now some other use cases I'll just show you. This is a big one. Filevine's a multi-million-dollar company, and I created a bot that helps me out better than their chatbot does. So I actually have a really good one. I took this actually and put it on my other account. But it is, in fact, if I go and edit it, there's a lot of files and documents I put in, and each one of these have like 150 pages, and I've slowly like fine-tuned it with questions and all this stuff. But yeah, so this is a multi-million-dollar company, and the training on it is intense. Takes weeks to do, thousands of dollars to complete actually. And everything that I learned and everything that I use, I just pretty much like slowly like put it in here just as I learned it, screenshotted things I learned, and now it's, you know, so you can take your company information and put it into a chatbot, and now you have a really good chatbot that's trained off of your company. That's what I did right here. Sarah, the fractional support agent. I was going to start a fractional essentially if somebody wanted like a high level CEO but they couldn't afford them, the fractional company was going to essentially be able to take like you know, someone who's worked for, you know, the CEO is Salesforce, or, you know, something big, Coca-Cola, you know, and it's like, I don't have 20 million, 50, 80, 100 million. It's like, what? I do have, you know, 80,000, or, you know, maybe the CEO of, I don't know, a smaller company like Subway or Jimmy John's, like they're big, but, you know, maybe I can help them launch my sandwich shop, and, you know, I can pay them $40,000 a year, and they only have to spend like 4 hours a month working with me or whatever, right? So that was the purpose of this. And so I had a bunch of our information trained, so when people came to ask questions on the website, they were trained on it. So AI school, yeah, I have a bunch of them, and on my other account I have a bunch more that I actually sell. But sorry, I feel like this is rushed. It's been an hour. So now when it comes to the most common use cases of Chat GPT, I kind of tried to gather a list. It's pretty long, but I'm going to try to fly through this and just kind of give a basic overview of what it can do and what it can do for you. And yeah, so if you kind of want to take advantage of Chat GPT, and these are kind of some common things that people do that help out people a lot, as well as me. So first of all, summarize this. So you can take long articles, you know, that highlight the, you know, 4 pages of whatever the article is, and then you can throw it into ChatGPT and say, summarize this, or you can ask questions about it. What is this article saying? Whatever, right? You can do that with PDFs as well. You know, maybe a company has a welcome brochure, or there's some long PDF that you want to ask questions on. Well, upload the PDF and say, hey, can you summarize this 8 pages, and can you explain that PDF? Or scientific papers, right? That's a big one. Not only can you summarize this scientific paper, but can you explain this to me as if I was a 5-year-old? You know, health plans, right? You can upload your health plan, your car insurance, and you can say, you know, oh, I just got into a wreck. I slammed my brakes and went into someone's yard and wrecked their treehouse, causing damage or whatever. I don't know. How much property damage is covered under my insurance? And then you can just upload the insurance and it'll tell you. You know, warranties on TVs or whatever, right? All that fine print stuff. Just paste it in there. Ask questions. Your car. I'm gonna put that in here actually. Car manual or manuals. It's like your car manual. You can ask it questions, right? Instead of looking through everything. Long emails, right? When there's a long email chain with a bunch of people, you're just like, oh, I don't want to read all that. You can just highlight, copy. Can you explain what this chain is back and forth? Do I need to reply to it? Does any of it pertain to me? Anything long, you can summarize it. And then not only summarizing it, but explaining it. Compensation plans. Math, by the way, ChatGPT kind of struggles with math sometimes, but compensation plans, you can throw it in. You can ask questions on it. It's helped me out quite a bit. And again, sometimes it gives wrong information. So you just have to like kind of, just be aware of that, and then just double check some of the things that you're not 100% on or whatever. I actually had to fine tune the pay plan, and now there's a pay plan that I just put in that I can ask questions on, and it tells me like, oh, if I sold a deal and they were doing $10,000 a month in revenue, and they had 4 locations and 6 employees for each one, and how much would I get paid on the residuals? And then it's like, oh, this is what you get paid. This is how much you would need. This is so that's nice. Frequently asked questions you can train, you can throw in, and then when people have issues, when they ask your chatbot, right, it'll know. Help documents, company policy, that's a big one, right? You can throw your company policy in and ask it questions. Train your company on specific things. The training GPTs or training AIs on your knowledge, your company knowledge, your specific information. They have found that when you take a certain small amount of data and you trained AI a lot on that small amount of data, it actually performed a lot better than if you were to take the large, huge AI that was trained and try to ask it questions with that as well. So you're going to find a lot of fine-tuned AIs, very specifically niched for a certain company. Because, like, for example, like one company might have different moral values, might have a different company direction they're going for. When you're asking things on the internet, you don't know like where you're getting that information for, whose opinion, whose values, are you a hardcore business person? Are you like trying to, so you just don't know. And so when you get to have your fine-tuned trained, that's not what I was asking for. This is more what I'm asking. No, I don't want you to tell people that they can take an extra week off of vacation if they don't feel good. You need to tell them that they need to contact their higher ups and tell them that they would like to ask for time off or whatever. And so as your chatbot goes, you can slowly train it for specific information. So you're going to find companies, the bigger the company is too, like the more information they have, the more questions there are. And like it's just like definitely like there's a problem with like the bigger a company is, it gets to this point where like it stops becoming better and it just becomes worse. Right, like streaming, right? Remember how awesome Netflix was 15 years ago? And streaming is like, dude, I don't need any of this cable nonsense. But now everybody has cable again in form of like 19 streaming services at $20 a month each, and now we're paying twice as much a month. Like it's like, dude, cable's gonna come back and be like, hey, you can have all these streaming services on one platform, and we're gonna have a bunch of channels and you can watch it, and people are gonna be like, whoa, that's so cool. Anyways, off topic. But yeah, medical health plans, yeah, that's a big one, right? What do I have? What's covered? What's not covered? What contracts, your tax forms, tax documents, government stuff, right? Scientific papers, all sorts of stuff. Just take that data and throw it in, right? I worked for a Fortune 500. I worked for a large telecommunication company, and every week they would come out with like 3 or 4 promotions that only worked with certain plans and certain features and certain this and that. And none of the staff knew. It would like no one really knew. It would take you would have to do a lot of research, a double, triple, quadruple. And even though you would do that, sometimes mistakes happened, and everything is changing so fast. And how is a human being supposed to know all this? Hey, by the way, there's only been about 1,700 plans and policy changes and promotions in the past 3 years. We need you to know all of that because we have people paying for 3-year phone plans. So when you're done with that, let us know and make sure you've memorized it all, right? Imagine like calling AT&T or Verizon and being like, hey, I have a problem with my plan. And they're like, oh, sorry, John, I'm assuming the issue you have is the increase of $120 on your bill. And you're like, yeah, that is the issue. Well, the reason why that's there is because, whatever. And then you're like, no, it's stupid. I don't agree with that. And they're like, well, you're not paying more out of pocket. I don't know. It knows you automatically, and it can tell you what's going on, and nothing's. And by the way, you won't get screwed over because AI has been trained on everything that your account is. It knows you. It knows what It knows what phones you have, what promotions, all that stuff. So it won't, like, it'll tell you like, hey, oh, you're canceling a plan, you're canceling a line, which is going to make these 2 phones not free anymore. You know, where a human might not know that, might not catch that or something, right? So there's just so much that can go wrong with these big companies. I'm going on a rampage there, but content creation, right? I showed you that you can make social media posts, whatever. I can even, so I'm actually gonna, I'm the social media post one that I actually made. I have it actually looking for, you know, explodingtopics.com and keyword hunter and what's a bunch of websites that are showing like relevant hashtags and stuff like that. I have an SEO bot, the same thing. Anyways, that way I can like put in like, oh, there's a product, this product is 20% off. So I can just say, push in like, hey, this product is 20% off. This is what the normal price was before the 20% off, and I want to promote it. Can you make a post on all 5 of my socials? And I'll be like, here's your Facebook, you know, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. So that makes it really nice. It just, especially like when you're just giving information, you're not like trying to connect with your audience. If you use AI to connect with your audience, like, don't do that. That's what people hate, by the way. I once did a Zoom call, a demo for somebody, and they sent their AI bot to do the demo. And I was like, nope, and I don't want to sell to an AI bot. No, thank you. If my product isn't worth you getting on the phone, then it's not worth it to you. Like, I'm not gonna talk to your robot, dude. Anyways, so yeah, coding, we already kind of went over that a little bit. Research is nice. So like I talked about the schools right early on, housing markets. So this is actually a conversation I had with it, because I was like, I don't understand housing when it comes to, like, you know, why would I buy a $2 million house and put $500,000 down and pay for the next 20 years to pay it off? Because that $2 million house with $500,000 down overall is going to cost me like $3.8 million. So can't I just, would it save more time to wait another 2 years to put an extra $500K down? That way I only owe $1 million over the course of 10 years. What would the interest rate be between, you know, okay, once I own my home, what would the state and the federal tax be? What would my property taxes be? Is there any, what about energy consumption usage? Are there any laws in those states that would prevent me from being able to use my own energy or water? Can I collect my own water there, by the way? And so, like, I'm going off, but I went for a long time, and I was like trying to find a place, because me and my wife, were thinking about moving. And we're trying to find the best place to live in. You can highlight an article and ask it if it's fake. That's nice. Can you give me some sources where they found this information from? They will do some. It's like, I don't have that information. Can you look on the internet right now and try to hunt for it? Okay, I'll try. You know, so yeah. Can you find me scientific information on blah blah blah? Can you read this financial statement in this quarterly report? Or like putting in quarterly reports and asking questions on it. Or like putting in, you know, the last 10 years of quarterly reports and asking questions on it. The custom GPT is awesome. It's custom support bots, right? The better you fine tune it. This is going to be so big, you guys. You're going to have AI assistants for everything. You're going to have your own companies. There's going to be AI companies that do everything AI, that there's like one human being that kind of fine tunes them and kind of guides them here and there. And you're going to find that more and more. You don't need a lawyer. You don't need there's all these things that like pretty much AI can do most, if not all of it. And then, like, for example, like AI can't go to court, but it can get you to the point where all you need is a lawyer for a couple of hours to review all the AI stuff and take you to whatever. And so, anyways, the product recommendations, this is awesome. For example, I was like, I'm trying to get a server. I want to run a server at home that I can share my movies and videos with. So me and my wife can, not like some of these, like for example, like Friends and a lot of these shows. I have like millions of DVDs. I was like, I just want to put everything online, and so I was like, well, and they're like Plex, and I was like, okay, well, Plex is on a server, and if I don't have access to that server, is there any offline? Is there anything? Okay, well, anyway, so you can ask it questions instead of like Googling, reading, and doing, writing things down and doing all this. It's just easier. Language translation. I was at the theater the other day, and they were on Google, and he's like da 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 da, and you show it to the guy, and then the guy would be like da da da, and show it. You can just be on the chat and be like, hey, every time you hear English, can you translate it into Spanish? Every time you hear Spanish, can you translate it to English? As I'm speaking to someone who speaks Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish, and they don't speak English. It'll be like, okay. So yeah, that's cool. Document creation, man. I asked it to like create a when I was creating the company Fractional, I was like, this is what I want. This is the company that we're trying to build. I'm trying to get the articles of incorporation. I'm trying to get it registered on the state and federal level. This is what the company is. This is what we're trying to accomplish. This is the time frame. This is kind of what makes us different. This is, I kind of gave all the information. I was like, can you build out for me articles of incorporation? Can you build out like, mission statements, all that stuff? And so one by one, I slowly built out all this stuff out, and then, was editing here and there as it, I'd get like I said, 40 to 80% of it right, and I tweaked the little things that. But yeah, it helps. Or like you want legal documents. Hey, I have a lease. Can you figure out the best way I can get out of this lease? Or this is what happened. Or yeah, I'm renting a room. Can you write an agreement? Hey, I'm selling something on Etsy. Can you help me create a letter to? I don't know. Oh yeah, this was a big. I'm trying to work out, and this is how much I weigh. This is what I. These are the bad things I eat, and essentially, I'm trying to gain muscle. I'm trying to get to this size or whatever the case. And I can work out 5 days a week for at least an hour. Can you give me a routine where I work out? And it gives you a routine, right? And you can ask it questions and fine tune it. This is all stuff that you do just like in the chat, right? You're asking it questions and stuff. Or financials, right? This is how much money I make. This is how much debt I have. This is how much interest is on each debt. I'm trying to pay these off, and blah blah blah. Can you give me a step by step, or can you give me a path to get out of debt, or whatever the case? Or here's like an Excel document of all of my everything I've spent money on the past 3 months. Can you tell me what I'm wasting money on, and the easiest way I can save X amount of dollars to pay this debt off, or whatever the case. So yeah, throw the documents in, start asking questions, fine tuning it. Oh man, I'm out of water. Helping writing emails. This is big, right? This is I always like write the email and just like really fast, and then I highlight it and I say, can you make this sound more professional? Or I don't know. Personal assistant. This is huge. You can train your Chat GPT, like I said, to be the trainer at the gym. So you can also take that GPT that you trained, that you told your weights and what you're trying to accomplish. Say, give me a weekly plan. Then you can go to that Chat GPT, and then you can actually do the voice thing and say, hey, I'm just going to leave you on. You might hear a lot of noise. You might even hear people talking and asking questions. But essentially, all I want you to do is when you hear me say what my reps are or how much weight I'm doing, can you just write that down and save it for me? And then it'll do that. And then like next week, you can be like, hey, I'm trying to do these reps. Can you tell me what I did last week? And it'll tell you what it did because it wrote it down for you. And so you don't have to look it up, right? Your schedule manager. This one's going to be a bit different because you'd have to talk to it all the time. It won't be like, hey, by the way, you're late. But you can, put your schedule. Hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And every time something changes, you go to it and say, hey, this rental, it changed. I'm not picking up at 10:30. I'm picking up at 11:30, and it's going to be now with Enterprise instead of Hertz. And then contact Justin or whatever his phone number is, blah blah blah. After I picked it up, and then you're out with it, whatever. And someone texts you, hey, actually, it's going to be Eric who's picking you up. So you go back to him and be like, hey, actually, Eric's picking me up, not Justin. Here's Eric's number. And then when it gets that time, you can say, hey, can you give me Eric's number, whoever's picking me up? Or can you give me Justin's number, whoever's picking me up? And you're like, oh, you said that Eric was picking you up. Do you want Eric's number or Justin? Oh, yeah, that's right, Eric. Can you give me Eric's number? So, like, you can talk to it like that, right? To-do list, just everything you need to do, put it on there, and then ask it what you have on your to-do list. And you can even say, can you bullet point it out for me all the time? And it'll bullet point out what your current to-do list is. Your nutritionist, you can take pictures of your food. You can tell it what you're eating and say, hey, I want to stay between these levels, and it'll tell you, oh, well, your pasta has more carbs than what you say you want to accomplish today, or and then you can dial it in of what exactly. And then every day you can say how much you weigh and all this stuff, right? Life coach, this is what you want to accomplish, and what's the best way to achieve that? And okay, well, this is what I'm doing now. Okay, can't do that. I don't have enough time. I have time between 6 and 8 o'clock at night, though. I can do that during that time. And then you train it like, hey, every time I talk with you, can you ask me how I did since the last time I spoke with you on the things that I'm looking for? And so you can fine tune all of these so much. Mentor, right? Like, let's say I want to trade like Warren Buffett. I could download all of Warren Buffett's books, or if I want to do it the right way, but you need permission. So all these free letters. There's so much free information out there. Him and Charlie Munger, right? You can just gather all that free information, and because they're good at investing, right? I mean, depends on what type of investor you want to be, for sure. But yeah. So yeah. You can also train your GPT to have different perspectives. You can say, hey, this GPT's I'm not here to cause drama, but let's say this Chat GPT is a Republican, this Chat GPT is a Democrat. I want you to fight over who's right. Or wait, this person is the Pope, and this person is the Mormon prophet, and this person is the Dalai Lama. Oh, and this person is whatever. I want all of these GPTs to talk, and I need you to find common ground, and I need you to all have an answer of where I want you all to agree on where you're going to go together, instead of all being these separate religions with different thoughts. Find the common ground. Tell me what that is. Just keep talking until you figure it out. If you have if each person has biases, make sure that they continue to have those biases until that they are convincingly overwhelmed with the accurate information to get everybody on the same page. And whatever the fine tuning could take a long time, and then you have to have conversations, and you're like, no, that's not what I want. I want this. Then you have to reset it all and then start messing with it again. So like there's a whole like art and science, I guess, to fine tuning these bots, and different AIs have different ways. But yeah, the personal AI assistants are going to be crazy, because even right now, you guys, you're not even thinking of having a life coach or a whatever. Maybe you don't have an accountant or a lawyer, or maybe you just go on QuickBooks, and but you could have like one of the most bad A lawyers at your fingertips, and accountant, and so eventually people are going to have dozens or hundreds even of these personalized, kind of how everyone has like a million apps on their phone. They're going to have a ton of these different personalized assistants that are very specifically niche, dialed in, yeah. And so I guess the last troubleshooting, by the way, I'm going to talk about this dialed in and niche thing in a sec, because that's the last thing we're going to talk about. But DALL-E, by the way, that's creating images, so we already showed you that. Walking tour guide, I actually just thought of this the other day. I was in a city and I took a picture and I was like, can you tell me the history of this building? I'm going to be walking down the street. Can you tell me the history of the buildings on the street or the street itself? And it kind of did that. But troubleshooting is nice, because I like took a picture of an engine I was fixing, and I was like, I'm trying to take out the axle at this, I'm trying to pull the axle out of this, boot, but it's not letting me, and am I doing it wrong? And they're like, no, you're doing it right, you just need to pull harder. And whatever, right? Or computer problems, right? My computer's not turning on, and you take a picture of like where all the wires are, can you see anything wrong? Walk me through the steps of how to fix it, or whatever the case. But then personalizing it, I guess that's the last thing before we kind of end. And then I'll kind of talk about where I see the future of this stuff. But the last thing that you can do on Chat GPT is personalize it, and that you'll see up here in the customize. The only other thing I haven't shown you, by the way, is my plan. Essentially just shows you how much you're paying. So I'm paying the $20 a month, which gives me access to the image creator, custom GPTs, access to not only like the GPT 4.o mini, but the new 4.o and the new 4, and access to web and vision and file uploads and some more advanced data analytics and stuff. So the $20 is kind of worth it, I guess, for me, depending on how you use it. Business is kind of weird. You actually pay more for it if you have multiple people on, but you get to share the same data, which is kind of nice. And then the last thing I want to show you is the customized Chat GPT. And this is where you can customize kind of how your GPT responds to you. So for me, in the top section, you can put in like, what would you like your GPT to know about you? And so on this is like what they like you to put in. It's like, well, where are you based, right? If you're in New York or California or Tokyo, it depends on where you're based on kind of how it answers you, because things are a little bit different. What do you do for work? Kind of have an idea of who you are and what type of stuff you talk about and do, and hobbies, interests. What subjects can you talk about for hours? What are some of your goals you have? So it wants to know some basic things about you. So when you talk to ChatGPT, it kind of knows who you are, and so it kind of answers a little bit more specifically to you. I actually don't like this, because I'm a different person sometimes when I'm asking it questions. Like sometimes I'm asking in an artist's perspective. Sometimes I'm asking in a, a business perspective or something like that. I don't know. And so when I start my chats, I'm like, I try to tell a GPT, hey, I want to create art in this genre. I really enjoy doing it, but I'd also like to turn this into a business. But I don't want to hate my work. What's a way I can slowly integrate my work into a business over the course of the next year or so without killing myself? So I don't, hate what I do for fun or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why I gave that example, but anyways, mine's blank. You can kind of decide how you want to do it. Below, which I'll give you access to this, all the kind of how I currently have mine trained. This is how you want your ChatGPT to respond to you. And so on this, I do have some things on there. So and it does have some ideas on the right you can look at. But for me, I don't want it to tell me. It always tells me like, oh, we're a language model. It's like, I know you are. You don't need to keep telling me. It always tells me like, cut off knowledge. I don't care. If you're unsure about answers, tell me. Don't just make stuff up. Don't tell me like I should consult with an expert. I hate it when he says that. Like, I know you're not an expert. Like, but yeah, even things like I want to see both sides of the options. So if I ask you about, like, hey, something crazy political, happened this weekend. Like, what? Tell me what happened. And it's like, oh, the left side evilly took over the right, and oh, the right, of course they're lying, and all they do is, they suck at all this stuff, and this is what happened. And it's like, no, I didn't. That's not what I asked. what took place was there was a meeting, and someone went up and spoke about stuff, and this is the stuff they spoke about. That's what I was asking. I wasn't asking you about your opinions, right? Or about your one-sided. You'll find that GPT is like it's actually very left. Anyways. Yeah, I wanted to cite sources. So I don't want it just to give me information. It's like, where'd you get that information from? Because I might not believe you. Yeah, don't take a side. Anyways, so I hate it when it says warm regards. I just put that in the other day. Warm regards. It's like, no, get rid of that. And then do you want the ability to browse the web, make photos, and then do coding? So yeah, you can customize this however you want. But that's pretty much GPT. Now there are, I guess, to kind of end, just talk about what's going on in the future. Oh, I guess I didn't put that on there, huh? The future of AI and the future of GPT. Guys, this is just going to go ham for a little bit. The next 10, actually probably next 3-4 years, it's going to be AI craze. And then it'll start getting more dialed in over the years, but it's still very new. It's still very broken. There's still a lot of things that can be done with it to make it better. Everybody has their own AIs that do different things better than other ones. Chat GPT is kind of the main one. It's the one that started it all, so that's kind of the one I'm showing you today. But yeah, I guess that's it. I super appreciate everyone who's watched this video. Hopefully this video turns out well. Next week, I will be talking to you about Midjourney, which is that image tool I was kind of showing you a little bit today. But I'll show you how to use it and how to create really cool photos and whatever. But yeah, go to Click Creations, go to the pricing, go to the free plan, get this, subscribe. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel as well. I do live streams every single Thursday at 7 o'clock at night, Mountain Time. But yeah, appreciate everybody, and I'll see you at the next stream.